let me look at that material. Well.
Well, what I was kind of hoping for was a more funny scenario, to be honest.
Good luck with that. We'll try another one.
Okay, yeah, all right. Now that we're wait, you got to keep the you can't. All right. Yep, let's get another one.
Wait on, I better put my power lead just fell out.
Oh yeah. It's not liking that.
Now we're good. Are we good again?
We're good. We're live. People are loving it. They're cheering and clapping. We had two people.
That's what we need.
We had two people watching, and we've disappointed them. So hopefully.
Yeah, well, we'll try and make up for it, all of you rampant viewers out there. Freedom Foods recapitulation. Freedom Foods is a recapitulation, major Perth, and regional airlines, Rex regional airlines are going to grow. That's important because mass tourism's dead. That's one of our dot points is that we're going to push each week. Mass tourism's dead. They're just on the news this morning, they're saying of Cairns. We've got to help all the people in Cairns so reliant on what I call mass tourism, international tourism, whatever. And I think you've got to help them find new ways, meaningful, contribute to their own and the collective well-being because mass tourism's dead.
Yeah, so two things. That's not a scenario, that's just your next talking point.
Yes, it is.
I want to create destinations, rooms we're arriving at that we can improv around, not just the thing. You know what I mean? But since you brought up the Rex thing, shouldn't all air travel be abolished and replaced with high-speed light rail?
Where practicable, light rail's fabulous, but the infrastructure to set up new light rail tracks, and I'm a massive advocate, particularly if they're solar powered in the end, local solar, local storage, etc., community run, big tick, and cane tram technology, even just scale it down a little bit. But in a lot of instances, it's really steep and dodgy and a long way, and you need to, with Skype and with Zoom, now a lot of people who work have to travel, don't have to travel, thanks COVID. And so the need for productive air travel has dropped enormously with COVID and with our economic futures where we can't all just be comfortably off middle-class people who have money to spend on frivolities like air travel holidays. Those days are done. It's not, we'll get the international tourism business back where it used to be gone forever. And, if you want to turn into a minotaur and become a solar head, now's the time.
Yeah, well, I like...
you're going to be the minotaur. All right. I'm the gorilla. I get it. I don't mind.
All right, what do you want to be?
Okay, I want to be me. I want to be me. Now, the next bit's our Arts and Cultural Centre, and you can plunge into this whichever way you like visually.
Sorry. Just a second.
I think you're having too much fun. How many hours have you been straight live streaming?
This would be my fourth.
The fourth hour. It's a good picture there. Solar panels at either dawn or dusk. Yeah, now you're getting properly carried away. But
sorry, go on. Arts and culture. Lay it on me, Papa.
You are the culture, pal. You breed a creative child, and look what happens. Speaking of creative children, segue. A brush with Van Goghs Bible. Now, this is important for a larger point of the 17 dot points, the cultural sheathing. This is very important. A brush with Van Goghs Bible is a recent Weekend Australian. Why do I like Vincent van Gogh so much? None of us know that, but we all do. I think it is because it's impossible not to respond to the energy that infuses his paintings or to his magnificent use of colour. But it goes on later and later, this thing about the Bible. But how is all Vincent of popular art and avant-garde Van Gogh collection of newspaper and magazine prints? This is where it gets important. Vincent van Gogh's collection of newspaper and magazine prints helps a great deal in understanding Van Gogh's artistic development. Between 1880 and 1884, Van Gogh collected more than 2,000 black and white prints, mainly from English publications such as The Graphic and the Illustrated London News. Al-Essi showed how this collection, which Van Gogh referred to as a kind of Bible, influenced him throughout his career. Now, what sort of prints was he collecting, you start to wonder, because we're all Van Gogh addicts.
Hey, can I make a quick request? When you're leaning to the side like that, your head gets cut out of the frame.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was being all intimate.
One option to maximize your horizontal girth would be to put your phone into landscape mode, so turn it to the side. It would probably be a better experience all around.
It's just on a mic stand held on with a couple of rubber bands. All right, here we go.
Give it a crack. I've been meaning to see how it would go, and immediately you get all this extra zone.
Okay.
Oh, you're gone now. Oh, there we go. And try and keep yourself centered in that zone. That just makes it a bit easier for me.
I understand what you're saying. We're on a bit of a slant because the weight of the power lead into the bottom of the phone and the rubber bands. This is live.
It's live,
this
baby.
Is my tech studio, my backyard.
There we go. And now you actually fit with the gorilla better too. Okay. Dial in a bit. All right, little bit of live feedback as well. Love presenting the topics. Not really giving me many gaps to jump in there. So let's dial in a little bit. Van Gogh collecting clippings. What would I say? Isn't that interesting? How small pieces of media you create kind of enter the zeitgeist and could influence such a great artist. You know, that he is just a composition of thousands of tiny pieces of art that, a penny farthing, illustrator. I think about that a lot with your Benjamin Franklin's and stuff, is they were really the kind of bubbling nexus point of these huge, networks of people's, perspective.
Well conceptualized, Sam, and very well articulated in turn. You've painted a new picture of relationships for me.
Hey.
There are people who are nubs in time and space, Tesla and so on, who just happen to be there to spin it all together. Yeah, very good.
And so whenever I feel this isn't the Declaration of Independence, I'm like, no, but what if this is one of those tiny little things that gets seen by the writer of the next Declaration of Independence, and they're like, okay, deep future. All right, maybe I'll put that in the Declaration of Independence. And I'm like, all right, I did my bit.
Yes. And so he, context of massive, this down toward the bottom of this article, Van Gogh's collecting of prints is seen in the context of the massive changes experienced in the 19th century. And this is where it gets to be the cultural momentum, one of the 17 concepts. Cultural momentum, Van Gogh's record of it, we're all intrinsically attracted to the visuals of what he did amazingly. And we all know he's cut off the ear story and all that junk. But this is a deeper level. Van Gogh's collecting of prints is seen here in the context of massive changes experienced in the 19th century. The migration of populations to the city. This had never happened on Earth before like this. This is in the 19th century. The migration of populations to the city, the growth of London just exploded. Technology introduced with the Industrial Revolution, nothing like it ever before. And we're all just exploding out from this time. And Van Gogh did a graphic on it, but it was well fed by these 2,000 that have remained existent and are now gone public. Industrial Revolution, in particular, the rise of popular print. We take so much for granted that many of you younger people, you consider that print, hard copy print, as superseded, but print revolutionized who and what we are as a species. And Van Gogh understood that. The prints evoked the 19th century tension between city and country, still goes. This is a scholarly work, So ain't that a new window on our mate?
Well, I've got a little take on the the print revolution, as well as the here we go.
You're getting funnier each time. Go on then.
All right. There we
go. Yeah, why do they call me blue transparent, man? I just don't understand what's wrong with them.
So the yeah, like the technology of the technology of print. That's why I brought up Benjamin Franklin. I guess is that you think of him as this distinguished gentleman that like changed America because he had all these genius thoughts that he had to
Who's this
write.
again? Sorry, I missed it.
Benjamin Franklin.
Oh,
So
yeah.
he was
Yeah.
like but really he was just the equivalent of what you would. I almost think that he would be like a Twitch streamer or a YouTuber today, where he just worked. He when he started out, he worked at a printing press, and just his heuristic feedback loop got very quickly baked into the more you print, the more coins you get, because he came like middle class. So he was cranking out newspapers. He was competing with other people. He was just writing, because he loved it. And he had a lot to say, but he would make up all these funny characters. He would make up all these almanacs. He would like attack his enemies. In like the more you
Sounds
read
like
it,
he was a bit manic, Sam. Sounds like he was a bit manic. Was he a depressive as well, or
no,
was
he
he?
just loved money and newspapers. Like he wasn't a genius. And then he developed but he was part of this zeitgeist of that same thing. If because it was possible to just all of a sudden this like faucet of like high bandwidth human interconnectedness was released with the printing press, and that's
Yeah.
and he was just like blogging basically and doing it constantly because it was his job. Like he actually owned and ran newspapers for his whole
But he
life.
sounds very obsessed. He sounds very driven. I bet he put in about 10 or 15 hours every day. I bet he was just passionate from the moment he jumped out of bed.
Yeah, I've been Twitch streaming since 8 a.m. on a Sunday.
Yeah, see?
This is the
And
Declaration of Independence.
what good's it done you, apart from turn you into a minotaur, which I suppose is every man's dream, but
All right, next topic.
next topic on the dot points that we have for today, the global news. Myanmar, it's still as bad as it was and only getting worse. We won't spend
That was
a lot
last week.
of time, but we need to remember that people are being oppressed. It is one globe, and there's no excuse anymore. The flat screens pick up the bad behaviour. They're shared. We have a collective responsibility in our own country and ultimately overseas that bullies and oppressors and power grabbers who are brutal need to be propped and stopped. So we'll just leave that one there. Cultural momentum, that's going to be a recurrent theme. We're getting toward the end. And so a couple of quick stories, one under the news segment. You think you got graphic news segments. A news segment, and it'll come segment number 2 is This is Australia. And this particular example of This is Australia came out yesterday's Townsville Bulletin, and it goes that there was a really big crocodile just a bit north here of Townsville over the weekend. Yes, This is Australia, a really big crocodile, and one of the local fishermen has gone missing, and his tinny's still around, and they're pretty sure that he got eaten by a crocodile. This is Australia.
I definitely thought that was gonna be a funny story.
I'm sorry. Sometimes I do funny, but today, funny. My best joke is that introducing the concept of long-termism.
I didn't get it. Okay, I've got a funny crocodile-related thing. Can I jump in?
Absolutely.
All right. Let me just. What I gotta do here? All right. So let me just tidy up a little bit. Hang on, put that there. Put you in the mouth.
Put you in the mouth of a crocodile.
Let's both. Well, we can both get in there. I'll keep it fair.
Oh, yeah, you can. Okay, we're the crocodile riders. Miniature humans just hanging with the crocs.
All right. I'm gonna like.
People said we were a croc of what? But wrong. Oh, hi, Sam.
Oh, hell. How'd you get in here, Dad? See, this is what I'm talking about. We can do improv. This is what I meant. So we can do like situational improv.
Whoever thought we'd become crocodile dentists?
Dentist? I barely know it.
No, dentists.
Dentists? I barely know it.
That was a bit of improv. Wait on, I'll just fix this tooth here.
Oh, wow, I tell you what, okay, sorry, I need to do yes and. Yeah, you know what, it was always my parents always were crocodile dentists. Oh yeah, this is good, it does look like
well, I came from, as you know, as your dad, I come from a very long line of Crocodile Dentists, we lost a few uncles and aunties because it's not a gender thing. You've just got to have the gentle touch and the very large lot of rope and about 30 people sitting on them. And once we invented gaffer tape, good for everybody else, not good for the dentist amongst us. Now, there's another crocodile dentist if ever I saw one.
All right, so I saw this recently, and I forgot that it happened, and I saw it again and was just like, this is the most bizarre thing. Hang on, I need to figure out how to share this to you so you can hear what I can hear. Okay, all right. So this is the funniest thing ever. Look, I don't want to amp it up too much.
I love this fella.
So I was not ready for this when it came on. Come on, Bob. Wish I could get him in the bloody crocodile with us.
This from about 20 years ago. He's young there.
Hang on. Can you hear that?
People are entitled. No, I can just hear it.
All right, let me crank it up a bit. All right. So this was on gay marriage. Oh. They were like, all right, Bob Catter, what do you reckon about gay marriage? Pretty much, that's the setup.
I mean, people are entitled to their sexual proclivities. I mean, let there be 1,000 blossoms bloom as far as I'm concerned. But I ain't spending any time on it because in the meantime, every 3 months, a person is torn to pieces by a crocodile in North Queensland.
It must be the 3-month mark with this fella up the coast a bit.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago. Shouldn't joke about people getting taken by crocs, but you know what they say: you go into croc water, you get crocked.
Yeah, it's don't go where there's dangerous animals. It's easy. Yep. Well, I don't know unless you have to. Did he have to? Was he?
Well, I don't know. It was out at Hinchinbrook somewhere. I'm guessing he just went out for a fish, but.
Okay, so this is a new segment called This is Australia. I've made a new view for this.
Yeah, I know that. I'd put an arrow next to it and put a number 2. Number 1's the global to local news. Number 2 is This is Australia. We haven't got a number 3 yet. Number 4 is Where's Our Thinking Up To? This is a new one for you. You tell me what you've been thinking on in the last few days. What's your brain been processing?
Hang on, let's make a new one. All right, I'm going to make a new one. Okay. Thinking up to. So where's your thinking up to?
Where is our thinking up to?
All right, well, we need a background for it.
Yeah, well, Einstein, of course.
Okay, all right.
How could you have anything else?
It's a bit literal, though. Like, we need a background. That's a subject. We need a space. Where would Einstein be?
Einstein would be sitting somewhere, probably smoking his pipe and being quite pleased with the way his facial hair grew.
Yeah. All right. Einstein's house. Einstein can't be in it because he will draw focus from us. Einstein's house.
Oh, I don't know. I would have thought it would augment us, Sam.
All right. Einstein. That's fine. The people. Yeah. Hang on. First, I've got to add us.
Where is our thinking up to, as in your particular and my particular? While you're mucking around with the techno stuff, my thinking of late has been to do with the concepts of equality and respect as the foundation for money transactions, for human transactions, for environmental, interspecies, etc., transactions, us humans, just the concepts of respect and the senses of equality. They're things that continue to deeply fascinate me. Oh, you look very thoughtful there. I think I should put on my thoughtful face.
This is my video editing face. This is my doing any work face. I just look like a psycho.
Well, I guess you are thinking at a very high rate. Burning.
Okay, I like something you said there, interspecies transaction. I really like that concept. I think that's something that, there should be economic rights to animals, surely.
Absolutely. There was a fella called Nash in about 1991 put out a book, a Tasmanian fella. He put out a book called The Rights of Nature, and it goes on from lots of earlier things, and the Silent Spring, and there's a whole tradition since the 50s of people intellectually calling out our biohuman explosive impact on the remnants of biota. And this fellow, Nash, said, every species has an equal right to exist on this planet. Now, because we humans have such prowess, we create such monsters as chainsaws. Used one yesterday, Sam. We created such things as bulldozer. How I wish I'd been a bulldozer driver. And we knock out bush that we just shouldn't anymore. And the increasingly shrill plea from those who understand long-term biota in our current biohuman explosion, we will stamp you out. We will stamp you out now.
That was a good beat. We will stamp you out. We will stamp you out now. We will stamp you out. Stamp you out. Stamp you out now. Anyway, please continue.
You've got it. And so with that, my thoughts of approaching all relationships with respect and a sense of equality, of equity, of equalness, of that I'm not dominant to you, I'm not superior to you. Just because I can bulldoze you doesn't mean I could or should or indeed should be allowed to anymore. And that nexus, your word, of us as a species, where we're just going, we've got to keep knocking out the remnants of more biota. We need more farmland. We're hungry. We want more money for mines. We've got to blow up old cultural sites because we need more iron ore. And that's the cheapest, easiest way. Oh, sorry, cultural sheath. Respect, fail. So we need to screen and filter about ethics and the morals of every species interaction that us dear, darling, overly muscled humans have.
All right, good one. That's going to be a hard act to follow. Where's my thinking up to? Honestly, I'm mostly thinking about how I can get out of debt and start saving for some property. And I've been doing the Barefoot Investor, and the whole thing with that is it's actually just a way of managing money, so that you basically put your money into different silos. So about as you get any income comes in, you put 60% stays in an expenses account. It's just like that's for your hard and fast. 10% stays for fun. 20% goes to any debt you've got, and then eventually that 20% goes to your wealth, and then 10% goes to short-term savings for fun, basically like a trip or something like that. And it's great because I've been doing this thing where I put all my money on my credit cards because I want to pay them off, and then I don't have any money, and then I end up having to use my credit cards, and I just haven't been able to figure that out. It's just like, and since I've started doing that, I'm like, oh, okay, so it doesn't feel as quick, but it's way more sustainable, and I'm chipping away at my debt, and I am saving at the same time, but not too much because you're supposed to pay it off. And I'm like, okay, I can actually see a pathway to, I'm like, oh, cool, this is a new way to do it. It's just such a simple change. So I don't know, it's not very, very deep, but I think, Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Yeah, exactly. And Maslow's hierarchy of needs of the 17 dot points of human existence and meaning. Maslow, let's put him at about number 4.
He's got his own dot point.
Yeah. He's the only person who does. Maslow, and them who don't know, bring up Maslow in the background, because that hierarchy of needs, it spills out from us as individuals seamlessly into us as groups. And that's my other thinking at the moment, is about the idea that we are in groups in suburbia, increasing numbers of them. Where's your thinking up to? The idea of groups, and we have personal needs, we have family needs, but the next ring around is there's a neighbour's needs. If you're in the bush, the whole bushfire thing is a neighbourly bond. But until our mass mobility in the last 100 years, nearly everybody just grew up in the same town or village, the same farming area over and over. If you're nomadic, the same turf, the same group, the same tribe. That's what we did forever. And then 100, 200 years ago, we said, let's invent not just carts and horses to drive them. Let's invent, we'll do trains, and then let's do cars. Aeroplanes, don't be silly. God. Let's do aeroplane, and we get all mobile geographically so much that it breaks down much of that cultural group structure around where you live. And so the new group is on the internet, the new group, but it's group. And again, back to this idea of respect. and a sense of equalness, of just respect in the end, is that it's to do with other humans as well and other groups. Now, the idea of money as a means of exchange, as a way of getting what you want, rewarding effort, E for effort, it's part of Maslow's junk. If you've got no place to call home, your life's a whole lot different than if you have. And if you own that place that you call home, that's a whole lot different again. You can put a screw in the wall if you want to.
That's my dream.
Knock out the side wall.
All right, well, visualize it with me. Sam screwing the wall, no strings attached. That's 1 hour. That's been Good Mornings with Sam and Dad. Episode 2 of Season 1. We got funded from the pilot. We've actually got a new microphone coming in. We've got 3 new scenarios. Let's go back through them. Where's your thinking up to? This is Australia. Sexy lads. And then back to the... Now, isn't it nice that we got out of the studio for once, Dad?
Oh, look, we got out of the studio. I half hung out my washing before I had to come back. But, you know, we keep grounded here, even if it's to do with, what's his name, Jimmy Fallon's. But it's really Good Mornings with Sam and Dad.
Good Mornings with Sam and Dad. So now we're going to leave them with a little outro. Hang on. So let me just see if I can find that original song. Actually, oh, you can hear the song. Okay, listen to this intro that I've set up. And then you just feel like, yeah, this guy's a freaking genius. If I can find it again. My computer crashed. I'm so annoyed. Was it this one? No.
I can hear that violin.
Yeah, but it was not... Oh, I should have written it down. Damn it. It was like... Hang on.
Oh, nice. That's a harp.
I don't think I'm going to be able to find it.
Look, that is the music. A violin, a harp, a synthesizer.
Oh, wait, no. I know why. I'm in the wrong genre. Hang on. Don't get me wrong. I love classical music.
I can't. We've got to leave this. We're all glued to our screen, Sam, watching this exit. But we all want our cup of tea.
Show's over, folks. Go home. Hang on. I'll find it next time. I mean, this is good enough leaving music. See you later, everybody. Thank you so much for coming. I hope you had a lovely time with Sam and Dad.